here, it looks like.
All right, welcome to the Senior Home Business Live. Today is going to be a little different. No intro video today. No little ticker going across the screen. I'm not going to ask you to click subscribe down below and all that stuff and click the link. This pisses me off, Brittany. We're going to talk about today top 5 financial scams targeting the older generation. I don't care today if you're a senior advocate or not. If this doesn't tick you off the information that we're getting ready to go through, these 5 scams from these perpetrators, these scammers, these criminals, if this doesn't move you to action in some form or fashion, I don't know what to say. You must not even like this generation. I don't know, because this is happening all the time. We're going through the top 5 today, and we'll give you as a bonus at the end. Stay with us. We'll give you 5 more. And if you want us to cover those 5 more, hit down in the comment section. Yeah, I'd like to know what the other 5 are. We'll cover that at another time, maybe next week, Brittany. I don't know. We'll get going on it. And if you have, we were going to show the article like we typically do on Wednesdays, right, Brittany? But this particular topic just disgusted us so much, we're not even going to show the article. We're going to go through the points and put them on the screen so it's easy to follow for you guys. But I don't want this show just to be like it's a normal show, because this is not a normal topic. This is the stats, Brady, from 2022. 88,262 complaints of fraud, resulting in $3.1 billion in losses. People that are age 60 and above. How does that make you feel, Brittany?
Not a good feeling. Infuriating, honestly.
No, it ticks me off. So we're going to go through today how to stop these perpetrators. And I'm going to say that word because they are perpetrators. I hope they come on this channel. I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you a story later on number 4, how this impacted my own mom. And fortunately, I was on the phone with her, and I'll tell you the story a little bit later on. I'll give you those other 5 at the end of the show. And then also, again, if you want to know more about this for next week and upcoming weeks, drop down in the description below. Say, hey, I'd like to know more. And I'll make a deal with you. If you want the article, because we're not showing it today, just drop down in the description, put your email down there if you're okay with it. If not, I don't know how I'm going to find you unless you have a YouTube channel, unless you want to text me. You know my number. My number's down there somewhere, 559-210-4152. It's been on there for like 6 years. So if you can't find it, I don't know what to tell you. But, okay, let's get to it first before we get into the top 5 scams targeting older adults, Brittany. Why do they go after adults or the older generation? Why is that?
I think most times that they're vulnerable. So a lot of the senior population or older adults might not know like trends or might not understand the internet and things like that. So they're just more vulnerable as far as, maybe they don't you're going to talk about your mom, but technology is huge, right? They're not as versed in technology usually than we are. So they don't know what to look out for. And then I know, I have personal experience with this, or just kind of a side note, when home phones used to be a huge thing, right? So everyone used to use the home phone. Seems like now when they're calling home phones, the scammers are using, or perpetrators are using the landlines, which seniors typically do still have those as opposed to ours. So I just think they're easier to access. They're home all day. There's so many reasons I think that they target seniors. Yeah,
they're more vulnerable, and they think, and it's sometimes the case, that seniors, because they've lived a long time, they have money in the bank. Sure. Money in the bank. They've got some insurance policy or whatever it may be to get their hands on, their slimy freaking hands. But let's go through how to stop these perpetrators too, because the first area would be knowledge, right? You guys out there, if you got a grandma, grandpa, you've got an older mom or dad, you've got to be knowledgeable about this. I know we talk a lot about assisted living and placement and getting our seniors, our loved ones in the right place, whether it be an independent, assisted living, memory care, whatever community it may be, right? And you go, well, man, I can't do that because of money. And then, I can't take care of my mom or dad or grandma or grandpa because I don't have time. I'm working. Well, this you better make time for, because this is happening. This is a reality in we live today. This is reality, but how do you stop them? Number 1 is knowledge. And then number 2, in a very practical way, you can stop these perpetrators from negatively impacting your loved ones, your older, loved ones in your family, or people you just know on the street, down the street from your neighborhood, or, grocery store, wherever it may be, is check up on them. Simply a check up on you. How are you doing? And get involved in our lives, because the older we get, like Brittany said, the more vulnerable we become to things like this. So we're going to get into it, Brittany. Let's go ahead and do it right now. Going through top 5. And the first scam, oh my God, government impersonation scams. This is when an individual, they'll make a phone call and they're pretending to be someone from the IRS. It could be someone from the Social Service Administration, someone from Medicare. And all they're trying to do is strike fear within that individual. And you'll notice a common theme throughout these scams, the top 5, is they're trying to draw out an emotion. Most of it is fear-based. However, there is one we'll get into in just a second. It's more of a happy moment, and entice them in a way that they're excited. But this one here, Brittany, is all about fear. And if they're calling from the IRS, supposedly, it's a number that it's kind of a spoof number, I think they call it, Brittany. It's a number where it looks like a government agency number, or they're calling from the same area code. So it looks legit, right? So they disguise all this. It's all deception. It's just all to play the game. It's all the end result to get the money from the senior to their pocketbook or their wallet, whichever they're female or male, I don't know. But anyway, get into their bank account, right? They're trying to make that shift. But with the IRS, they're threatening them. They're threatening with what? Unpaid taxes, things like that. Brittany, is that right?
Yeah, unpaid taxes is typically.
Yes, unpaid taxes. So, hey, you have unpaid taxes back in 2005, 2008, whatever it may be, and we're here to collect on that debt. And so you need to do this. And if you don't, this is the ramifications of what's going to happen. So give over your debit card, give over your banking information, things like that. And so you need to understand a couple things about this tactic. The IRS never calls you like that. The IRS will send a letter. The IRS will never threaten you like this. If you have unpaid back taxes, and I know from experience, because when I was flat broke, I had some unpaid back taxes. Now, fortunately, things have changed a little bit in my life, but back then I did. You will never be incarcerated, going to jail and prison because you have unpaid back taxes. You only go to jail when you have unfiled back taxes, when you're not being transparent, not being accountable to what you're making. And so the government comes along and says, hey, you're trying to scam us. Well, what they're doing is these freaking perpetrators are scamming the seniors and thinking, okay, you haven't paid the government, so pay us, and they're acting like the government. So then, Brittany, the other two is the Social Service Administration and Medicare. What have you had any experience with seniors that kind of even smell of fraud out there?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the Medicare thing too as well, just like within the industry and people chatting. There's actually like agencies that really study all of this that are out there. So yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of ways they can do it. I know that like you mentioned, it's all about fear. So even with Medicare, I think a lot of seniors I come in contact with still don't understand Medicare, all of the avenues of Medicare, supplements, advantage plans. I think a lot of families are also, and seniors are unaware about that. So it's just an easy way, a vulnerable topic for them to slide in for.
Absolutely. Yeah. So government impersonating scams. And let's get to a happy moment. It's supposed to be a happy moment, but it's still a scam, you guys. It is the sweepstakes and lottery scam. This is when they call you and supposedly you have won something. What's that big, I forgot.
Public clearinghouse or
something. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The public clearinghouse is at the door. Woo! You've got big winnings, big earnings. Oh my God. You've hit the jackpot, the lottery. And, and I think about seniors today, Brittany, and all these things tick me off. But I think about this one. If you're at a vulnerable state in your life, and maybe you're at a place where you cannot afford assisted living, memory care, and you're in a place in your life, money is tight. And I know a lot of seniors, that's where they are. And then here comes this potential happy moment, the breakthrough of their life. Oh my God, I've won something. I'm going to get out of poverty. I'm going to get out of this old house and get into something new, or get a newer car, or, get something for my kids, or whatever the motivation may be. And so they come and they go, hey, you've won something and it sounds really good. And they're like, all right, send it to me. Well, before we send it to you, ma'am, you've got to send us some cash or some gift cards or something to cover the fees, because there are some fees associated with this. And here comes the knowledge, you guys. You've got to present this to your loved ones because this is a happy moment. I think a lot of seniors would be vulnerable to this one right here because it would seemingly get them out of where they are. It'd be like being in crypto, which I am. I'm in crypto. Woo! I won't tell you which ones I'm in, but I tell you, man, I hope they go parabolic. But, that's what the seniors are thinking. They're going, oh, my gosh, here's my breakthrough. So, I mean, what do you think seniors are feeling at this moment, Brittany, when they get that kind of call?
Yeah, like false hope. I mean, it comes down to false hope. It's really sad. That's a huge, I mean, anybody would be excited to get that call. Me, you, everybody. I mean, that would be a huge blessing. But just the too good to be true. I think it's really a shame. I hope that if they do have some kind of cognitive decline or if they're in a really bad financial state, I would think it's even worse. And it's just really heartbreaking. So I think that's one of the worst ones, like you mentioned, just emotionally to even talk about. That's tough.
Yeah. I mean, you think about a senior or anyone, but in particular, I'm thinking about seniors. Obviously, that's what we do. We're in business to help. We help seniors. We're an advocate for seniors. Think about them getting up one morning. They're in a lot of pain. They're just having a bad day. They're missing family. Maybe family's nowhere to be found, or maybe they're out of town or something like they're feeling very lonely. And then here comes this call. And it's almost like I could see them just lighting up like this is God. Oh my God, answer to my prayers. And it's not an answer to your prayers. It's a scam from these perps. So let's get to the third one. And this one, you guys, please take note of because the robocalls and phone scams are just running rampant. And I didn't know about this robocall, can you hear me question until about, I think 6, 7, 8 months ago. I'm bad with time, but somewhere in less than a year that I first became aware of this. But essentially, I guess, Brittany, wants robocall. Someone calls you and they go, can you hear me? And the scammer records your voice and hangs up. Of course, when you say, can you hear me? Usually the person on the other end will say, yes. And what they've done is they've recorded a voice signature. And they can apply that voice signature on stolen credit cards. So here's the rule, the knowledge, the way to overcome this. Instruct your loved ones, anybody in particular, especially seniors, when someone calls, say, can you hear me? The answer is always no, no, no. And if they keep asking that question and they don't hang up, just say no and hang up because no one is calling you. And that's the first thing they say. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I mean, maybe they say your name and you obviously didn't hear them. And that's the first question. But you got to be disciplined. And I know it's going to be difficult. But guys, the adult kids out there, man up, woman up, and be with your loved ones and say no. If you ever have somebody call you and ask you, can you hear me? The answer is always what? No. Matter of fact, I'm calling my mom today. I'm going to tell her that because I don't know if I've told my parents that yet or not. I think I told her when I first heard about this thing, but it's some things I think, Brittany, we need to remind seniors of certain things, right? Because when we were kids, they were our parents, right? And they told us what to do. Later on in life, the way it becomes, it's just a circle of life. The adult kids become the parents. So you've got to tell them no. Is that correct to say, Brittany? Should we tell our parents to say no if they have that question?
Yeah. I just wanted to make a little comment on this as well. So it says things like the police, like the law enforcement agencies are calling. So a little different than just the yes, but they made a note of this on the article. And yeah, I've heard stories where they're calling a senior and saying that their grandchild is in jail and they need to post their bond. So they are asking that senior, playing into their emotions, that your grandchild or your daughter or part of your family is in this county jail. And it's really crazy because they use like a phone number that looks like it is the county. So it looks like it is a county office and they're calling and saying we have to get the money for so-and-so's bond. And it's really, really sad. It's just, I think almost that's as bad as, the public clearinghouse or the things that we talked about. It's just really sad to play into their emotions.
Absolutely. And I heard, and I think I'll do this article, that they're getting so aggressive with it, asking for information over the phone, through the computer, internet, but they're also getting aggressive where they're actually showing up at your door dressed as a an official of whatever agency they said they were from to collect the money. Actually going to your loved one's door to do that. So that'd be another area of conversation that we need to have with our adult loved ones, is to say, don't just answer the door for anyone, you know, and people from the IRS, the government agencies, things like, they're not just going to show up at your door like that. I mean, there's, I don't want to get into all of that, but I mean, we just got to educate our adult loved ones about this. So number 4, let's get into computer tech support scams, because this hits home. This one, Brittany, hits home for me. My mom almost got scammed on this. I call my mom, I like to think every day. It's at least every other day. I call her 4 or 5 times a week. I mean, my mom and dad live 2,500 miles away from me. I call them. I'm checking up on them. I did a surprise visit last year, and we've done certain things. And yeah, I'm an only child. So it's really and I love my parents anyway, but if I was even with, you know, a lot of siblings, I still would love my parents, but I feel it's really my responsibility, because I'm an only child too, to make sure they're okay and taken care of. And fortunately, they got a good support system with friends, church, things like that too. So I'm not the only one just 2,500 miles away. But I called my mom one day. This was about, Brittany, I think 5-6 months ago. I don't know when I told you this, but somewhere around there. And my mom did not answer. And she doesn't answer sometimes when she's charging the phone or when she's baking. She has the phone in the living room, whatever. But usually she answers. So I called her back. It went to voicemail. But I noticed the second time I called her, it went right to voicemail. So I knew she had the phone in her hand, or at least close by, right? That's what happens when it goes right. So then I called my dad on his land phone. She picked it up thinking, oh my gosh, there must be something wrong with Matt. You know, she sees who's calling. So I got talking to her. She goes, hey, son, I'm so sorry I didn't answer your call. I need to call you back. I've got someone helping me fix my computer. Now, I just bought my mom a computer about 6 months prior to that. And I'm thinking, what could be wrong with that computer? I said, Mom, what's wrong with the computer? She goes, I don't know, Matt. She goes, they're just, you know, they're all in it. They're trying to figure out the problem. There's some issue. I don't know. I said, okay, well, let's back up. Who's helping you? Who's helping you fix your computer? She goes, and I forgot the guy's name. Let's call him Tommy. She goes, well, Tommy is. I said, well, how do you know Tommy? And she goes, well, he's the guy online. I said, he's the guy online. I said, Mom, you don't know him? She goes, no, not really. He's online. I said, well, how'd you get in touch with him? She goes, well, I called him. I said, wait a minute, I'm confused. Okay, how did you get his number? So she backed the story all up. What happened was, my mom loves Clydesdale horses, loves them. She saw a picture of a Clydesdale horse, clicked the picture. It went somewhere else, and I don't know what it said. Maybe for more Clydesdale horse pictures, click this link. Well, that next link was, you know, where something popped up on her screen. Her computer was malfunctioning, need repair, call this number immediately, blah, blah, blah. So she did all that. And that's how she got talking to Tommy. Bless you, bless you.
Thank you, sorry.
That's all right. Hey, that's what we do on live. We sneeze. Sometimes I cough. We do all kinds of stuff. But so she's talking to Tommy, and come to find out Tommy's in Washington, D.C. So all the time I'm talking to my mom on my dad's phone, I hear some voices coming through, you know, nearby, and it's coming out of her phone. It's Tommy. And Tommy's telling her, oh, no, don't talk to anybody. This is top secret. This is for security purposes. That person you're talking to could be the reason why you are where you are with your computer. And she goes, no. And I heard her say, no, this is my son. And he goes, don't even talk to your son. And I heard that because the phone was closed. Now, I can't say the things I said that day on the phone, explicit. I can't say those things on YouTube, but I tell you what, I became a different person in the sense that I defended my mom, like as though somebody was going to harm her on the street right in front of me. And that's what this guy was doing on the phone and the internet. So a few choice words, those kind of things. But Brittany, this happens. We hear stories of seniors, losing $200,000, losing their life savings over crap like this from scammers.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's sad. Yeah, it's really heartbreaking. And I think especially with the computer things and the tech support, I think they're even more vulnerable. Usually seniors aren't as versed as we are. So clicking on things or just I think there's a lot. I'm not saying every senior. I've seen some seniors that have more technical experience than I do. But for the most part, a lot of seniors, it's just a really vulnerable spot to even begin to learn a phone or computer, let alone tech support or just, I don't know with your mom, but I've seen it where they take over the screen and try to fix the computer, and they're pulling all of her, like if she has anything in Google where the debit card's saved, they're just pulling everything. So it's really, really sad.
Absolutely. Let's get into the fifth one. You alluded to it just a few minutes ago, but this is a huge one, guys. This is another emotional pull, right? Kind of pulling on your heartstrings. It's a grandparent scam. Someone typically calls and it goes something like this. Hi, Grandma. Do you know who this is? In a very sweet voice, non-confrontational, not, can you hear me? It's, hi, Grandma. Do you know who this is? And of course, Grandma will probably try to figure it out, and maybe she'll say the grandchild's name, something like that. And then the person on the other end, the scammer, the perp, will begin to follow along her lead in terms, maybe she'll mention the name, whatever, and then they'll go, well, Grandma, I'm sorry to bother you, but I just I can't pay my rent this month. I lost my job, or, could be something about a car, could be something about got in trouble, went to jail, and I need some money to get a jail bond, or whatever it may be. Is this whatever they want to say? And then that's the fake grandchild, but the grandma thinks she's talking to her grandchild. It's like, oh my gosh, I've got to do something. I've got to do something. I don't care if I've got to give my life savings to help my grandchild. I'll do that. You know it as well as I know. You would do the same thing for your kids. You would do the same thing for your grandkids if they needed something. I mean, I told my wife this not long ago. Fortunately, in a place financially that if something catastrophic would happen, now it probably would break me financially. If something, I won't tell you what all we were talking about. I said, but I could pay for all that. But I wouldn't question it. I wouldn't go, how am I going to pay it back? I wouldn't question, oh my gosh, I'm going to be broke. How am I going to make a living? How am I going to eat tomorrow? No, the immediate need is taking care of my grandchild. She's in need. She's about to be homeless because she can't pay rent. She's about to can't go and get food at the grocery store because she has no car, or whatever it may be. The grandma is going to do something. And it's just, God, I don't know, Brittany, that just, fires me up, fires me up. Man. What about the other version of the scam? When you have somebody calling the grandma and they are impersonating a law enforcement type individual. Brittany, what do you think about that? And they get this high pressure kind of thing.
Yeah. I think it's scary. I mean, I think you're also playing into the heart, strings here. You're also pulling at the heartstrings, but you're also, that's scary. Can you imagine even just your own child or anything being in jail, or if it's something that's representing a public official? That's usually very urgent, needs to be done now. It creates urgency, and I think it's scary. Nobody wants their, like you mentioned about even, the rent or the car. Imagine jail. That's huge. Nobody wants their grandchild in jail for the most part. So I think
so the grandma is going to do all she can, right?
Of course, yeah.
I mean, whether she has debit cards or whether she has some sort of her retirement, whether she has gift cards, whatever she has, I'm telling you, most grandmas, if not 100% of them, will do anything and everything they can to protect their grandchild.
And whatever they have to do as well. Like I know in the article, it mentions they typically don't ask for wire transfers. They ask them to go get like one of those prepaid debit cards. So they're covering a lot of ground. So not only are they giving up their money, they might have to jump through hoops to get the funds to give it to these scammers. So they'll do anything.
Unbelievable. That's the top 5. And I want to just mention 5 more that we got written down. I'm sure there's others that are down, that are not on our list today. But I just want you guys, the Senior Home Business family, to be educated in this, understand it's knowledge that's going to help us trump all these perps and all these scammers and these criminals that are out there. And it's going to take effort on our part as the adult kids or grandkids, family members that support our loved ones that are older, because we in turn think of support like, okay, I can't afford to get them to a senior community. I can't afford to take off work to go over there and help with their medication. This is something you can help with. Make time, get off Netflix and help your grandparent do something, right? But here's some other scams, Brittany. Romance scams. And we'll probably get into this another time, so we won't get into the meat of it, but romance scams, business imposter scams, investment scams, Medicare and health insurance scams, internet and email fraud. There's so many, man. These people just sit around all day long just thinking about how they can scam somebody. So if they're putting that much time and effort and energy and thinking how much, they can go scam somebody, why can't we put that time, effort, energy in helping our loved ones? I don't know, Brittany. This makes sense to me, man.
Great. Protecting our loved ones, protecting our senior population. I know that there's people, again, there's organizations that really study this stuff and do presentations. There's so much information online. There's YouTube videos that go over all this. So just do your research and educate your loved ones. And even, in our industry, our clients, we take that time to do that as well. Some seniors don't have family to educate them, which is also heartbreaking.
Absolutely. And again, if you want this article, please let me know. Getting dropped down in the description in the comments section, and put your email or say, hey, I want it. And you can text me if you would rather not put your email. If you don't want to do that, 559-210-4152. You can do that. I'll get you the article, because there is a link, I believe, on this article that talks about where you can go to report these scams. And it's so important, Brittany, for people to do this, because more than likely you will not be able to get your money back. But by you reporting it, you might be able to help someone else that's getting ready to encounter a similar problem. So just as we're doing this video today, hopefully it goes viral. Share it, you guys. My gosh, share this video. Jeez, let's get the information out so people will know about these perpetrating scammers, so we don't fall prey to this and our loved ones don't fall prey to this. And again, what I said earlier, if you want to join the senior living group online, you can drop down, click the link, and join the free senior living group online, comprised of my students, half of them probably, other half are not, just people who love seniors. And if you want a consultation with me, one-on-one, about this business, the senior referral business, how it's impacted Brittany's life, my life, more than just money, you guys. I talk a lot about the money. The money's there, it's valid, it's true, but it's so much more fulfilling than the money. It just is. I've talked to a lot of people, Brittany, that are in a career, they make a lot of money, and it's just not as fulfilling. Yeah. And in this business here, you will make a lot of money, but it's the fulfillment part that really just warms my heart. It just does. Bring us home, Brittany. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I know that we've made this comment quite a few times recently, that it's more about the reward of helping families as opposed to the money. It gets to that point. And even if you have a passion for seniors, it's just it's so rewarding. Not only are you getting rewarded by the families that you're helping, the adult children, but watching the seniors that you help thrive in these communities and thrive in the right place. There's nothing better than it. There really isn't. It's just so rewarding. It's a very needed position. Like you always say, that we could use probably so many more of people like us that have a heart for seniors and to really watch out for them and be their advocate.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better, Brittany. Thank you so much for being with me today. And guys, thank you out there, senior home business community. And again, like, subscribe, share this kind of content. Let's get it out there. Let's get in front of this problem, not just always be behind it. Because I think a lot of times we're behind problems. We kind of let something come at us and we react because we need to and we have to in the moment. But man, if we have the information, have the knowledge and share that with someone, it makes a world of difference. So until next time, God bless. We'll talk to you next week.